Good evening, y'all. Happy yoga time. Okay. So tonight we are diffusing some heavy hitters, Rose and Melissa. Good evening, good evening. Just fell asleep in my son's room. I think I got makeup everywhere. So yeah, tonight we're diffusing Rose and Melissa. And I also wanted to work on the heart. I wanted to work on opening the heart. And with the heart comes breath. Okay, because the heart is like where it all begins, right? And we can't open the heart without extending hands, and we can't open the heart without continuous breath. And there's so many different kinds of breath techniques. And we've introduced a lot of them. This morning we were doing Ujjayi. But I think it's about time we open the heart. And so I wanted to just shout this out. This is a brand new oil pack from doTERRA, the brand of oils that I use and love. And it's Precious Florals, and they have it out in time for Mother's Day. And it is a gorgeous set of 5 different essential oils called Precious Florals, and it says delicate, feminine, precious. And this morning, I talked about the blend that I was doing that was very, very masculine. And it was interesting because I said tonight we should do florals or something. And I actually just found out that one of my dear teachers we lost to COVID from middle school. And it sent me to a closeness. Now this feels really close, and we have a choice, right? First of all, to stay home or go out, and we also have a choice about how we react. So we can't help but feel sadness, right, for so many people who are going through this and who have been affected by this. And yet, if we stay there in that sadness, then we won't have any space for compassion for others, right? We won't have any space to hold for love for others. We won't have any way of staying now and staying with our breath. And we'll always be either thinking about what just happened or what is to come. Okay, so we have to, as humans, feel these emotions, right? We have to. That's what makes us human. They have to come and go. But if we stay there, then we'll become that emotion, right? We'll become sadness. We'll become depressed. We'll become anger. And sometimes that's a good thing to fire and fuel action. But I don't know if I can find this, just this little quote before we start. Just super quick sentence. Breath, the heart of life. If your breathing is in any way restricted to that degree, so is your life. By Michael Grant White. If your breathing is in any way restricted to that degree, so is your life. And I'll never forget, I used to work up at as an event planner, and I had a colleague, and she had a high stress job, and she would always breathe. Whenever you get in front of her, she'd be talking, but she'd always breathe like this. And her eyes were darting. And you could just sense the stress in her constantly. Okay, so what I would do with these oils, I really have found that the more florals that you wear, the more my heart gets wide open. So rose, for example, right? To get true rose, and then we'll come into a little meditation. But to get true rose, in its purest, I always put it right in my heart chakra, which we're going to work on today. So right in the center. To get it in its absolute purest form takes about 250,000 rose petals. And so they've put it in this tiny little bottle and put some fractionated coconut oil with it to make it diluted enough to be available still. That doesn't dilute the efficacy, but it dilutes the cost for sure. So rose is what I'm wearing today, and I'm just going to add some blue lotus, which is a brand new lovely floral. So if you happen to have rose or any florals, palmarosa, geranium, clary sage, melissa, anything like that, go ahead and diffuse that. Otherwise, we just want to come into our breath today and open the heart. So have some props nearby. Ooh, that's really good. So I can smell it the whole class. All right. So have some props nearby, either your yoga blocks set up like this in front of each other, or you can have your bolster or something that, like a towel folded, that you can put down the whole length of your spine. Okay? So go ahead, come and sit in your comfy position, whatever that is for you. And go ahead and find that space. Sit in your comfy seat. Let the spine be nice and long. Let the head gently shake left to right as you root down through the sit bones, lift up through the top of the head, and just feel as if you're creating space not only in between the vertebra, but in between the ribs, in between each breath. And start to notice the quality of the heart right now. And so this space, right, physically speaking, is right at the sternum, but it's more than that. It's not just in the front, it's in the back. So I want you to feel the space in between the sternum and where the sternum lines straight to the spine. And we want to go right in the middle. So if you think about this, if you can touch the sternum and if you can touch the spot in your back at the same time, the spine is closer to the back body, right? But there's a center core. Yes, there's organs in the middle, but there's this center core of energy. And that's what we're talking about. That's where the anahata is, the heart energy center. And I want you to feel right now the quality of it. When you sit tall, is it easy for you to stay straight? Do you feel a little bit rounded in that area? Or are you actually leaning forward, right? This color, anahata, the heart energy center, is the color green. And below it sits the power center, yellow, and below that the desire center, orange, and below that the career and safety and finance structure, red. And so picturing these colors of the rainbow, the heart, right in the middle of all the energy centers stacked. Right in the middle above all those foundational poses. And just feel the quality of it. Notice your breath right now as I'm speaking. Have you been holding it? Have you been holding it, or has it been free to come into the body and to go out? I want you to think about for a moment what your hands do on a daily basis. What do your hands do? What do they serve? Do they serve? Do they type all day? Are you hunched all day? Do you wash dishes all day? Do you clean all day? Do you touch other people? Are you in the healthcare field, or are you a parent, or are you a caretaker? Or are you an essential worker that has to touch? Maybe not now, during this time, but what do you do with your hands to serve? The hands are an extension of the heart. The affirmation for this practice tonight is, I give love and I receive love effortlessly and unconditionally. I give love and receive love effortlessly and unconditionally. And do you live your life like that, or is this a new concept to you? And if your heart is totally forward, can you give some of that love to yourself? And if your heart is totally backward, can you start to give to other people instead of taking? And so sit here for a moment in this feeling, in this realization, just letting your hands relax, maybe on your knees, or maybe if they need to be given towards you, they're up in your lap to receive. And you relax the shoulders. And as we breathe in to the belly, into the ribs, into the heart, into the collarbone, into the face, into the head, exhale your hands at that heart center. Let your fingertips, your thumb tips touch to the center as you bring your hands into that prayer position. And we'll begin on one sound of peace, one single Om, inhaling together. Good, and as you exhale, release the hands, release the head, release the pillow if it's behind you. And then go ahead and bring the hands behind you, fingers forward, and just release the feet and rock them side to side, side to side. I'm giving you a little taste of what I do in my physical classes, right? It's very centering at the beginning. It's a huge, important part of yoga to me. Yoga to me is not physical. That's not where it starts. It's one of 8 limbs of yoga. And the centering part is probably the part that saves most people's lives, maybe even if they started at the physical part. Go ahead and bring yourself to sit now. And I want us to start actually in a restorative. So we're going to start by opening the heart. These 2 blocks here, or again, like I said, a pillow like this would be a little too flimsy. You want something folded. You want a long blanket or towel that's folded up. You could use a bolster, or just something that's going to let your spine hold that structure, and then the shoulders come up. So what we're going to do, if you have the 2 blocks, you're going to bring the ladies, the bra strap, it's kind of like at the very base of your scapulas, your shoulder blades, right up on top of it. If you just have a bolster, something that's quite long, you can just bring the back of your hips, the bum, up onto it. I'm just going to let my head fall onto that top one and just let my arms just drape down. Now, the knees can stay lifted. The feet can stay on the ground. Or if you'd like to release some more, you can start to extend the feet away from you. And just try this, right? Even if it's new for you to release, you might be holding tension in the hips, and that's why you want to stay bent. But see if you can release here Just come into that full heart opener. We'll be here for about a minute just to start, right? It's easier to open the rest of the postures we're doing with a gravitational pull to everything around the heart as we lift the heart open. Let gravity do its work here. I want you to concentrate on the breath while you're doing this. Just concentrate on the breath entering your body. Picturing not only the belly fill, but the heart fill. Picturing every single cell of your body fill with breath. Appreciate this breath. It's been here with you along with your heartbeat. The only two things that have probably been constant with you the day you were born, and they'll be with you until the day you're no longer here. And so why do we not appreciate the breath more? Pay attention to it more. Give it gratitude more. Thank the breath every single day. Take a few more on your own. For those of you on a bolster, on a towel, you're just going to roll over to one side, release the towel away from the mat, and then come back onto your backs for a moment. Those of you in with the blocks, remove the second block. Let the head come down on the first one just for a moment. You can get a little neck massage there. And then as you exhale, release that. Good. And then go ahead and swing the legs one more time. Bend the knees and swing them left and right. Open the hands either wide or in cactus pose. Or you can bring them behind you. Just start to stretch out the body here. Maybe stretch out the front of the body. Good. Okay, and as we inhale, we're going to roll over to seated and come all the way up. We're going to do a little extension of what we did this morning. So as you inhale into your extended tabletop, start to inhale forward and exhale back. Right? Inhale forward and exhale back. And if you can already, right, we did this morning, so maybe it's an extension for you. If it's too much, you don't want to come into a full cobra. This is a very deep cobra I'm coming into, right? So you're going to inhale forward. Maybe you just come a little bit. Exhale back. Good. So just keep going with that. See what your body needs this evening. See if you can hang out in that full cobra. And I want to also invite you to bend the knees here and even bring the toes together. And you might even widen the knees, right, as you do this. And just let the hanging cobra happen. But we're focusing today on the heart, right, not the lower part of the body. Good, just a couple more. And so for those of you who can't come into that full hanging cobra, what we're going to do now is start to inhale forward, come into that extended knee down plank with elbows in and lower down here. Now go ahead and take your version of the cobra, right? Inhale, opening the heart for 3, lifting the knees, keeping the toes down, lifting the knees, lifting the heart, shoulders back. Last one. Exhale, release. And then come all the way back. Good. We're going to come to downward facing dog. Start to really walk the dog. And now again, in every single energy center that we work on, right, you can think of working on different parts of that pose. So
Whereas if we were rooting down today, we'd really focus on growing our roots from our feet. Today, we're starting to open the heart. So if you, again, are someone who is usually curled up in some kind of a plank pose here, see if you can release the shoulders back, come on the balls of your feet, shoot the hips back, and then let the heart just kind of shine forward here. Good, and 2. Awesome. And 1. As you inhale, look up. Some of you are going to walk all the way to the tippy top. Or if you're modifying, drop the knees. Come on to your shins. Walk one foot and then the other. Good. So from here, I'm just going to push this back for a sec. So from here, okay. Go ahead and root down. You still can't see me, but that's fine. Inhale, open up, right, through the hands to the ceiling. Exhale, release. This time we're going to inhale, open the hands forward. Exhale, release. And this time as we inhale, bring the hands to the side. Bring the hands behind you, palms towards the back, fingers up. Little tiny back bend, lift, lengthen. Good. And then exhale from here. Swan dive all the way down. Modify if you need to. Hands to the chair, lift and lengthen. Plant the hands, step back to down dog. Or modify here. Good. Plant the hands, step back to down dog. Good. So in our hip opener this evening, we're going to again focus on the heart. Bring that right knee up behind you. Open and stack. And now sometimes we keep the shoulders stacked in square. See if you can open the heart to the side this time. And again, you can maybe modify this. Drop the left knee. 3 and 2. Good. And as you exhale, once again, bring that foot, knee all the way through. Step it into lunge. If you need to modify, you're rooting down in the shins, stepping that right foot forward. Good. From here, we're going to release into the hip, right? Inhale back, open. Exhale forward. Good. Inhale back. Exhale forward. 3 more times. Inhale back. Open the leg. Exhale forward. Good. And 2. And as you inhale this time, right? And exhale, I want the hands to root down. If you need support, you can always keep the hands down. Or they can come all the way up. Good. Now here, we're going to turn from side to side. So if you need some things like a block, or if you have boxes or Tupperware nearby, go for it. The right hand is coming down onto the mat or down onto a prop. Good for 3. Opening that heart, right? We're not leaning forward. We're opening it straight to the in front of us. Last one. Inhale all the way up. Both hands. Exhale, left hand down. And then open the heart as you turn to the left and let the side ribs on the right side open up. Good. And 2. Awesome. As you inhale, both hands again. Good. As you exhale, go ahead and release into that knee down plank. Release with the elbows in. Roll the heart forward. So good. Exhale all the way back to downward facing dog. Good. From here, bring that left foot behind you like you're stepping on the wall. And then bend the knee, open and stack the hip. Again, you can drop the right knee. And we're just going to open the heart here, right? Find a twist dog. 2 more. And as you exhale, square the hips. You can draw that knee all the way through. Step into lunge or drop the knees. And now step that left foot. Good. Exhale. Okay. You're going to inhale forward. Exhale down. Keep the heart lifted. Keep the belly lifted. Inhale back. Exhale forward. You can always do this with props as well, right? Bringing props back or the hands, bringing them forward. Be kind to that back knee, right? Inhale. You can have padding here with a blanket. Exhale. Good. Inhale. Last 2. Exhale. Last one. Inhale it back. And as you exhale, release into that hip. Try to tuck the belly in and up. Lift it up here. Good. And then really feel the heart opening. The hands can come up. Anjaneyasana, really opening through the heart. As we exhale, we're going to drop that left hand down. Open the right side first this time. Right, an extension of the spine, the head and neck. 2. And as we inhale, come back to center. Open to that other side. Try to keep the midline of the body center. We're just opening around the heart. 3. And 2. Good. Inhale back to center. As you exhale, release this. Let that foot shimmy back as you come into your knee down plank. Release. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Gorgeous. Exhale. Back to down dog or puppy or child's pose. Good. Let the head come down. Start to rock it side to side if you're in puppy or child. And say the mantra again to yourself. I give and receive love effortlessly and unconditionally. Good. And from here, or from your down dog, you can come on up, look up. Those in down dog, step, walk, or float to the top of your mat. Otherwise, you're here, 1 foot forward, next foot forward. Go ahead and inhale, open. Once you're there, top of your mat, exhale, release. Good, root down, lift all the way up. Maybe a tiny little back bend. You can clasp the thumbs here. Exhale, right down through heart center. Last time, open it to the side. Bring the hands behind you. Fingers lift. Let the hips come forward as you open the heart. Any amount. And then inhale, lift it all the way up. Good. From here, guys, I want you to start to swing the arms, okay? You can keep at the top of your mat and just come hips distance. And just make sure I have space here. So just like a child, right? Kind of swinging their arms. And you're just going to let them go left and right. Now remember I said the heart, the hands and arms are an extension of the heart energy center. This is where we touch. This is where we receive love, right? This is where we give, we serve, we extend grace. Okay, so go ahead and just let the body do whatever it needs to do to kind of shake out this arm, heart, chakra, energetic space. Good, keep doing that. I'm just going to grab a charge and then as you settle in, you guys having fun yet? Start to slow down, come all the way back to center. I actually want you to feel here in your mountain pose as you kind of come back to center. Start to feel with your hips distance, right? And your shoulders back and your spine down. Feel all that energy you just created. And relax into the heart. Good. So I was going to do this seated, but we'll do it standing since we're standing. We're going to go ahead, and if you have a strap nearby, you might want to grab that strap and just let it rest over your shoulder. Okay, so or a scarf, because we're going to do some of this, and if you can't reach your hand, then I want you to be able to grab that scarf. Okay, so from here, I want you to open your arms. 5 breaths. 4, 3, 2, 1, and release that. Good, we're going to do it again. Inhale. Open. 4, 3, 2. Inhale. Release that. Good. From here, we're going to open it up. Bring that right hand to the ceiling, left hand down, and then start to bring your hands towards one another. Okay, one is facing you, one is facing out. And if they don't quite reach, then you're going to grab a strap, right? If it's laying behind you, you're just going to grab that strap here. But if they reach, then you can start to bring your hands together. You don't want to bring them together, though, if this is your default, guys. You know what I mean? So the point of this is to have an open heart, okay? If you don't have a strap and you're not feeling this, I want you to bring one hand to the back of the head, just push into the head, and the other one can feel the back of your heart or as close as possible. Good. 3 more breaths here. And 2. As you inhale, we're going to open up to the side. We're just going to exhale, switch it up. Now the other hand can get tired, right? So again, we'll be here as long as I explain the other one. The left elbow is reaching to the ceiling, not forward, not back, not out. Try to reach it to the ceiling. If you have that strap, you're going to grab it, and then the right shoulder tries to relax. Again, if you have your left hand behind your head, you just want to push back. Totally cool. Good. And 3. And 2. Good. As you inhale, open up. Nice big 4 more. 3, 2, 1. Good. We're at the top of our mat, yes? At the top of your mat. You're going to root down. Inhale, lift. And exhale, swan dive with the huge heart pouring forward. Come all the way down. Uttanasana, forward fold. If you're on the chair, you just lift halfway, lift and lengthen. Good. Plant the hands. Step back to that downward facing dog pose. Good. From here, gliding forward, high plank. Exhale, lower down or drop the knees and lower down. Inhale, roll the shoulders back. See if you can come up into a bigger cobra now if you hadn't with us earlier, right? Just opening the heart. Of course, up dog counts for this as well. Lifting the knees off the ground, letting the body hang. Letting the shoulders relax. 3 and 2. As you exhale, come on down. Come back to your down dog or puppy or child's pose. Good. Now from here, we're going to, if you're in down dog, drop the knees. And we're going to grab either the blocks or blankets or folded up towels, okay? So if you have folded up towels or blankets, you might want some here, and I'll show you why. So the blanket might go behind you, or it might go in between the legs. And I'll show you what I mean with the blocks first, just because they're easiest to grab. But the first modification, we're coming into camel. So first of all, you want to make sure you have comfy knees. So put something under your knees or roll your blanket, fold your yoga mat up. And from here, we're just going to keep the knees hips distance, the shins are flat, tops of the toes. Okay, so let yourself be comfy here. The hands can come behind you, palms up, and you're going to lift and lengthen. Okay, and pretend that there's this wall in front of you. The fingers come up, and the shoulders just relax, but the elbows squeeze together. Okay, and the first modification just might be very light. You might just like push that. The hips kind of towards that pretend wall that it's in front of, right? Nice and aligned. And you just open the heart. Some of you are going to drop the head. Then you might open the throat a little here too. Good. And from here, right, just one more breath. See how deeply you can lift into the heart, breathe into the heart. Good. And then come on up. Okay, it's interesting. I want you to feel, we're going to do this 2 more times, and I want you to feel if you actually tense up when you start to go back into a back bend. Maybe it's back pain and some other part of your pain. Maybe it's your throat. And the throat chakra, when we do this some other time, back when I was in singing a lot, we would open our throat. Ah! And a lot of people would tense up in the neck because that's not a seemingly safe position, but when you can really relax when you're back there, it opens up the whole throat and the whole chest and heart. It's pretty cool.
So we're going to do it again, and the reason why I wanted to show you modifications is that some people like to grab their heels behind them. So this is a more advanced modification, and then I'll show you one more kind of, first level modification. You might bring your feet onto a blanket or something behind you. You might tuck the toes and bring your toes onto a blanket. And then when you inhale back, now you're just a little closer to your heels. And then you inhale, open. Now you can release. Okay, if you're not feeling that one, I want you to grab a pillow or bolster or something or block and squeeze it in between your thighs. And that's your work, because we actually want to work on lifting the core, squeezing the legs, and being really safe internally, okay, so we don't dump everything out. So here might be your practice, and you're just squeezing the legs, but you don't want to squeeze them together. They want to be hips distance, and just feel that. Okay, so whatever version of your camel, and as you come out, right, you're going to start to lift through the heart, and if you get stuck back there, of course, you can just bend the knees and come down, okay? So I kind of did 2 there, but showed you a lot, so I'm not sure where you're at. If you need 5 more breaths to come out of that, you can rest here like in a tabletop position and I'll give you a few more breaths to just do that one more time, okay? If you want to just stay here and settle into your shin posture and take a minute, then do that. Good. And then from here, we're actually going to come on to our backs already. So go ahead and come and start to come onto your backs. Right, just a short intro to heart opening today. Good. So on your back, okay, I want you to pull very lightly. Let me just move the camera one more time. Pull very lightly the knees into the chest, super light. There you go. Okay, and we're going to rock back and forth for a moment. Maybe a little more loose than when we started. And from here, we're actually going to come into some bridge poses and then some Matsyasana. So go ahead and let the feet come down. And again, if you need to modify, I was just looking for my blocks, you can modify this bridge pose by having your low sacrum, your low back, on some kind of bolster or some kind of lift. Okay, so as you plant the hands, and before we do this, I want you to just close the eyes, look to the ceiling, just hear the sound of my voice. I want you to place the hands down. And again, start to think about someone that you love right now. I just want you to think about someone that you love, and they might be near you, they might be far from you. And I want you to think about being in their body right now. I want you to think about how they might feel. Think about what they might be thinking, what they might be going through, what they might be feeling. If you think there's somebody who has that shortened breath I was talking about earlier, then can you elongate your breath for them right now? Can you start to elongate your breath for them? Start to fill your belly with breath. And as we inhale, feel the love that you have for them coming down from the top of your head and kind of just coating everything as it comes down to your heart. And you're just sending the energy that you're creating in this next posture inside you, but for them. You're sending it for them. Bring your hands down. Really plant through your hands. Feel all that energy coming down through your hands, down through your
heart, down through your belly, down through your legs, and all the way down to your feet. And as you feel nice and stable, root down and start to lift. You're going to roll your shoulders underneath you just a tad. Right? We're going to lift the heart. We're also going to make sure our heart is in line with our knees. You're just going to reach through the knees. Good. Keep planting through the hands. Get nice and firm in the feet. 3 more. The legs are squeezing together at a hips distance rate as if you're squeezing a block. Last one. Inhale. Big breath, and as you exhale, roll all the way down. Your hands can stay there, or they can be on your belly for a moment. For 3 breaths. I want you to start to think of an acquaintance of yours, someone you don't maybe have that love for, but someone that you see on a regular basis and that you're kind of have a neutral relationship with. And take some of that love that you had for the feeling that you had for that person, number 1, and bring it here and send it to this person and be in their shoes and be in their heart and be in their breath and see what they might be going through. Maybe it's like apathy, right? Maybe they need some of this. Maybe that's anxiety. See what they need. And as you have them in your heart, keep them forward. Send this light down through your head, same way. Let your hands plant by your hips. Let your feet root down. And as you have this energy in your heart, start to lift up, lengthen, reach through. Let it come through your knees. Let it root down into the earth. Let your breath be consistent. 3 more. And 2, inhale. Exhale all the way down. Keep that energy within you. Keep that energy within you. And now I want you to picture somebody who you've had a hard relationship with. It could be someone in a close family member. It could be somebody that you just see, you have to see all the time, and it's not pleasant being with them, working with them. But remember that unlovely people are unloved people, typically. Unlovely people are unloved people. And though we don't have to hang out with them often, it is going to do us good to get rid of some of that resentment or anger or any kind of animosity if we send them some love. And you should have an excess by now. So go ahead and bring that light and color down through your head. Let it fill toward your heart. Bring that person in front of you. Exhale, root down through the hand. Lift through the heart. Lift through the whole of the body. Reach through the knees. Good. And feel that love extending. You have an excess of it. Love never runs out. So go ahead and keep cultivating it in heart-centered practices and keep sending it forth. Last one, inhale. And as you exhale, come all the way down. Now we're going to keep our hands pretty close to our body, but we're going to be, see if you can actually bring them palms up. You're actually going to kind of grab your butt. And your legs, I would suggest, be extended. The reason why we're grabbing our tushy is we're going to keep the elbows down. My hands are long, so they're like extending way over. We're going to keep the elbows down, and so we're kind of forcing our heart to lift. And the reason why we're doing this, try to look up at the ceiling instead of at the video. We're pushing into our elbows so much that our head starts to come on, the crown of our head starts to come onto the floor. So we actually pull our head forward. We lift the heart. We're looking behind us. So the crown of the head is at the floor. Our face is behind us. It's called fish pose, Matsyasana. And the elbows are what is our support right now. And the forearms upside down. Good. So staying here, trying to relax into Matsyasana, fish pose. 3, 2. And to get out of this, guys, we're just going to come the same way. So really pushing into the elbows, starting to lift. No pressure on the head and neck. Back down into that final resting pose. And go ahead and do whatever pose you want to. Extend out or let the knees come into the chest. If you need a little twist at the end, go for it. Or you can just continue to swing the knees back and forth like we've been doing. Good. And if you'd like to end like we began with a little heart opener, right? So to finish it off, then that's fine. You can grab a bolster or a blanket. If you've had enough heart opening, just go ahead and come to your mat in regular Shavasana, right? The heart openers can bring your base of your spine onto the towel or rolled up blanket or bolster. And then exhale, release the hands, release the elbows. And again, see if you can maintain all that heart energy we've just created. And you can continue to pray here, continue to send out love for the families, like my teacher who has now crossed over the Rainbow Bridge. Send it to the families who need it. Send it to yourself first, though. Let the emotions come, let the emotions go. And if they're still there, just keep riding the wave. Gate, para gate, para sam gate, bodhisvaha. Deepen the breath. Start to move fingers and toes. Start to breathe deeper. If you are on a bolster, you can just roll off to the side. If you are in Shavasana, excuse me, bringing the knees into the chest and rolling side to side so you come over to one side. And as you roll up to seated, after you feel a moment with your heart, with a smile on your face, come on up to seated in your comfy position with your hands at your heart, again feeling the thumbs coming into the sternum area, just to notice where that energy center lies. And we'll end with one sound of peace, one single Aum.
right? With that vowel opening and ending with that Let's inhale together, joining or listening. May all beings know peace. May all beings feel deeply in their heart. May all beings feel love, receive love, extend love, and serve. May the light in me shine to that light in each of you. Om Shanti. So much love. Om Namah. Just a small quote again by Sufi Inayat Khan. Consciously or unconsciously, every being is capable of healing himself or others. This instinct is inborn in insects, birds, and beasts, as well as in man. All these find their own medicine and heal themselves and each other in various ways. And again, since I started talking about the spirit and how that is an innate part of my practice, in every religion that I've ever studied, there is always a practice, right, of spirituality. And so when they're talking about the instinct is inborn in insects, birds, and beasts, as well as in man, to heal ourselves, I think that human beings have this. And it works especially if you have a practice, if you have your own spiritual healing practice, if you give time to yourself in the morning, if you give time to yourself like this in the evening, if you give yourself compassion and if you extend compassion to others. It's so important that we heal in this way and that we give time to heal in this way, because when you're in a moment of anxiety or of physical pain, this is the only thing you can turn to. Right? It's always been said that the only thing there is health, and we can see that now. When you don't have health, you don't have life. And so thank you for practicing with me tonight for this heart-centered practice. Thank you for your community. Thank you for your contributions. And we will see you next week for 4 more new quarantine yoga videos. Have a beautiful, blessed evening. Mwah.